The word superstar really turned me off. I'll tell you why. Because the word star is an illusion of something, what the public calls you. You should look upon oneself as an actor. And you would be pleased if someone says, "Hey man, you're a superb actor." This quote was from a great martial artist and a great actor, Bruce Lee. Why I chose this quote was how he particularly contemplates on the word and the meaning of an actor. Well, before I move on, I think I should share some of my experiences and how I got into acting. Well, the very first platform for me was the Rangmala Foundation. The Rangmala Foundation is a great platform that provided me with the necessary equipments that got me very well equipped to become an actor. And that involves getting rid of stage fright and giving the ability to go anywhere and perform either music or dancing or even acting in any stage, right? So the very first thing that you need to get rid of is stage fright. And I know that is one of the biggest devils and biggest nightmares that most of the actors have. That is stage fright. But there are simple things that you can do to get rid of stage fright. One thing I do is I try to make my performance inclined with the audience. That is, try to get them involved in my performance. For example, I try to assume that they're just merely bystanders who are just watching me, watching a scene, watching something that is actually happening in reality. When that happens, you forget that there's an audience watching and you're merely concentrating in what you are doing, in your performance. You're solely living in your performance. And by that way, it helps you very much to bring out very good performance. Right? That is one key that I use to get rid of stage fright. And the other thing is to how you can portray a character that you've been given in the best way possible. But most people think that acting is just, going out onto a stage and reading a set of lines. Well, it's not. It's as hard as submitting a thesis for your degree, because you have to do a lot of research into what the character is, what sort of background the character has, and what sort of emotions the character always has in his mind and keeps on processing. So there's a lot of research that you need to put into to make sure that your performance comes out in the best possible way, and also in a great way that does not by any means whatsoever create a different idea on the audience's mind. For example, if you're playing if you're playing the character of Julius Caesar, and if you try to act out like Brutus, well, that brings out totally different definition out of the character and of the play. And whatever you say, whatever the lines you say, no matter what, even if it does say that you are Caesar, it's not going to come in the right way. So that is another thing. Alright, so I'll move on to how acting changed my life. Well, acting changed my life in a really, really good way. I've gotten a number of chances to move up and do a few short plays. I've engaged myself in stage dramas. I've also got the opportunity to direct stage drama that was in my own school, Royal Institute of Maragama. And also I've been given a chance to act out in a few short films as well. Also, I've been in certain episodes for television series as well, right? So these small opportunities that came up to me like bouquets of flowers, all I did was just take them up with open hands, because these small opportunities may be very small, but these opportunities help develop character. It really helps you develop your character. It's only because when you act, when you're in that routine, when you start to get yourself into character, when you start to dive into what sort of a character you're playing, you start seeing the wonderful possibilities of what sort of a person you can turn out to be, right? You start playing a positive role. You try and become that positive role, right? When you see a negative role, you know you have to play the negative role, but also you are very well aware that these are some of the things that you must avoid, right? So these are some of the great points that gave me meaning to my life. Honestly, acting is everything. To simply say, acting is everything. It's simply the way you eat, simply the way you drink some tea, because that nature may come in handy to, when it comes to portraying a character out on stage or even in front of a camera, right? Acting is everything. And to become a good actor, my advice is the most important thing for me is observation. Observing every single thing. For example, if you get onto a bus, you just sit down. What do? You just sulk all the way, or you just listen to music on your phone. But if you look at every single passenger, there's a story hidden behind them. There might be a mother who's very, very tired, is going back to a house where she's got a lot of family problems. And you can see how she portrays her sadness, her depression, her anger, her frustration. You can see all those emotions coming out, right? And you can just simply read, you can start to read people out of how they behave. Even a single hand movement can mean something very, very important, right? So honestly, that's what makes a person unique from acting. That is making sure even a simple gesture that you do in your performance while you're acting is pre-planned. You got to work it out. You got to make a formula. For example, if you get into a character of a beggar, do you always bend? Are all the beggars in the street that you see are bent and are always in rags? No. There can be certain beggars who are blind. There can be certain beggars who are just sitting down. There can be handicapped beggars. So we see all these types of beggars on the road, but do we really notice? We do see things, but we don't observe. We hear things, but we don't listen. So that's the difference. So if you want to become a good actor, you should start observing and listening. Thank you.